Hi, everybody. Welcome to 90-Minute Cocktail Hour. I am your host, Mike Guccione. I'm the owner of Driftwood and Dune Photography, New Jersey-based wedding photographer, also specializing in portraits. I do family portraits, maternity portraits, all that kind of fun stuff. Today on the podcast, we have Alexa Lynn Photography. Alexa, I've gotten to know over the last couple years. Uh, Great photographer. We run in the same circle of wedding photographers that have our own businesses, and we occasionally second shoot for each other or lead shoot for some of the other studios in the area. So she and I have crossed paths quite a bit and had a really, really great conversation, talking about her multifaceted, like creative past and, how she came to start her own business. And then, kind of talked about some of the fun trends happening in the wedding industry right now. So, before we get into that, just make sure you like and subscribe wherever you're listening to this, whether it be on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or YouTube. Like or comment wherever you can. That definitely helps with engagement. So make sure you do that. Help us out. And without further ado, here is my conversation with Alexa Lynn. Alexa, hey, how's it going?
Hello, good morning. It's good. How are you?
Oh, we're doing good. We're doing good. We're staying warm, doing our best over here. Um,
Same. Yep. Same, same.
yeah. So today we have Alexa Lynn of Alexa Lynn Photography. Um,
Perfect.
Alexa and I have known each other for a couple of years now. I actually first met you at a styled shoot, right back
Right.
at Mallard Island, and you
Yes.
were like just about to give birth to your son, like any day.
Yeah, I forgot I was pregnant. I was so pregnant during that shoot. That was so fun. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
and
was
I feel like
yeah,
you had him like maybe a week or two after that. It like was not long
probably. It must have
after.
been, yeah, in August. Yes, that was so funny. I know. That was like
Yeah,
2 years ago now.
and then I feel like and then I don't know. I feel like we were like Instagram buddies for a while,
Mm.
and then we finally like got to work together this past fall, and we were like trauma bonded together by the by
Oh,
shooting at
joy.
another LBI venue during a crazy nor'easter.
Yes, I know. That was insane, but we made it work. We were a great team that day, I
We
think.
crushed it. We crushed
We
it
crushed it.
under some
Yeah.
really crazy circumstances.
You have
Um,
to be in this business. You gotta be resilient in the weather.
yes, yes. Maybe I'll post in the stories for this episode
Uh,
um, a little BTS from that wedding day.
that would
That's
be
what
great.
we were there for Susan Elizabeth. Shout out Susan,
Mhm.
who's
Yes, that's
living her best life down in Florida now, while we
doesn't
freeze our
have to
asses
deal with
off up here.
I know. She's got it good.
Yeah.
Jealous.
But why don't you like introduce yourself a little bit?
Mhm.
Just kind of share, like what your business is about, how long you've been in business, all that fun stuff.
Yeah. So I started photography in 2016, which means this is my 10th year behind the camera, which is crazy. I don't even feel that old or like I've been doing it this long. But I really didn't start my business well, I have a few start dates, I think. I like to say I started in 2016 because that is when I first got paid to do it. That's when I picked up a camera, bought everything, and started. But then I really didn't go full time until 2022. So it had been a little bit there. Um, but I went to college and I graduated in 2014. I went to James Madison University. It was a great time. I studied media arts and design was my major, and it was a very broad major, covered everything from like graphic design. I did some video, um, like barely any photography. And what else? I had a concentration in public relations and I did a minor in creative writing. So I was just like all over the gamut with media and creative stuff.
Mhm.
And I originally wanted to be the editor of 17 magazine. That was the goal. And just like live my best Carrie Bradshaw life in the Big Apple. Um, And then I graduated and I couldn't find a job right away. It took me maybe 3 months to find a job, and I was having a panic attack, like
So
it was the end of the world.
I'm gonna pause you for a second. So like, what was the timeline of that? So like, when did you not to like or date you or age you, but like when did you graduate college?
I graduated 2014.
2014. Okay. And like, did you grow up in Jersey? Like, and were you like looking to live in the city? Was that was the plan?
Yeah, I grew up in Jersey. I've lived here my whole life. Um, and I don't even remember. I think I did want to live in the city, or I knew I wanted to work in like fashion magazines. And I don't know. Sometimes I was like, I want to move to California. I was kind of all over the place.
Hmm. Well,
But I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say I can totally identify with like
Hmm.
feeling like you have several different start dates because like for me, like my business, it's just been like a very slow burn for me. In you know like you said, if you count it from like the first time I got paid to take photos, I
Right.
don't know, like maybe 2010, 2011. If
Yeah.
you count it from like when I first started my LLC, it was like 2012. If
Right.
you
Right.
count it from like when I like really started shooting weddings, like maybe 2014. I don't know. So like
Right.
people ask
When
how
do
long
you
I've been in
consider your
business.
start date then?
What's that?
When do you consider your start date then?
When people ask, so I don't. I guess I would say from like the time I started my LLC, which would
Mhm.
I guess put me in business for 14 years. But
Nice.
I
That's
also
amazing.
didn't go full time until 2020. So
Right.
like,
Yeah.
I was kind of chugging along for, 6 years there or eight
Right.
years working part-time jobs, and, shooting weddings and doing gigs on the weekends.
Mhm.
Um, and, yeah, but a lot of that work, like when I went full time was still like mostly freelance work.
Right.
And, so like for my own business, again, it's like been a very like slow burn to kind of get some momentum. And I still love
Yeah.
freelancing. Like, I mean, like I work for, a ton of different studios. Um,
Yeah.
but I'm been focusing more on like trying to book my own stuff, like through my own brand and kind of do things
Yeah.
like the way that I want to do it.
Definitely. No, I feel like you're really taking off and doing so well. I always see your stuff pop up and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like, go Michael." So, you're doing
Thank
great,
you. I
sweetie.
appreciate that. But like, all
Yeah.
right, but let's take it back again. So I want to hear from you, like, when you were like in high school, like it sounds like you were kind of like being pulled in a lot of different directions in terms of like
Mhm.
creativity and media. So like, what was like your first outlet, let's say? Like what was your first like creative outlet?
I know, I, like, never think about high school, so this is so hard. But I Okay, I mean, when I just little girl Alexa, she really liked to draw and color and write. Actually, I think writing is what got me into creative arts. I
Like
used
journaling or like short stories or poetry, like
Yeah, like short stories. Like I would make these little books, and I think my mom still has them. They're so funny of like, about little barn animals doing things. Oh my gosh, I don't even know. And I would enter like little writing contests at the school and yeah, so I think that is what got me into the idea of being working in magazines. I was like, "Oh, I'll be a
hmm,
writer." And slowly as time went on, I just started hating writing. I was like coming up short with like, I don't even know what word to say here. Like I just shifted into I think I want to do something else creative. And I
do you feel
really love
like I'm
Mhm.
sorry to cut you off, but do you feel
Oh, no.
so were you like submitting articles? Like were you like trying to like make a
Mhm.
living out of it?
Yeah. Yes. Wow, this is uncovering so many things I totally forgot that I did in my life, Mike. This is fine. Um, yes, in high school, I was in a few clubs. I think I was in like the newspaper club and I don't know. Like high school wasn't it clearly didn't stand out to me. I was just kind of moseying along, living my life. It was really college that I think I came out of my shell. I was
Hmm.
really shy when I was little, and even in I guess in high school too. I mean, I had a lot of friends, it was great, but I was just kind of more reserved. And then when I went to college is when I just really was like, "All right, this is like I'm going for it. I'm just gonna like join this, join that, make all these friends, blah blah, have a good time." I really wanted to go to JMU because I really wanted that classic college experience of like football, sorority, like the big school life, because I knew I
That's
wasn't
in
gonna have
Virginia, right?
it's in Virginia, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I was between there and Marist College, if you
Okay.
know that one,
I do. Yep.
because they a really good fashion journalism program or something, and they were very close to the city, and I was like, "Well, this would be perfect." But then last minute, I was like, "Oh, but I'm never gonna get this, like, football sorority, the whatever thing I said before, like, big school life experience again. Let me just go for it and go JMU." And I
Hmm.
loved it. It was great. And that is when I was in a lot of clubs there too, and there was a I think it's still around, it's a website called Her Campus, and they were just getting started. It's an online magazine catered towards women, and they had this campus ambassador program, so you could start, like, a chapter at your school, and you were just an online magazine for catered to girls at your school, so I was the editor in chief of that, and that was a lot of fun. So I wrote a ton for them, and put on, like, little events, like, we had, like we partnered with, there was another big one around when I was in college called College Fashionista, and, those were, like I think a lot of those girls who were in that are probably influencers now because they were just always posting of, like, people wearing crazy outfits on campus. So we partnered with them a lot, and did, like, a little fashion show, that was fun. And, yeah, um, that's kind of where all the writing came in. And then I'm like, "Where does this lead to photography?" Um, should I keep going? I feel
Yeah.
like I'm rambling.
No,
Okay,
we got all the time in the world. So no, and that was
okay.
actually that was gonna be my next question. So like, how does that? Is there like a camera with you like while all that's happening, or like where does photography come in?
I think I was always I had one of those little power shots, the
Yeah.
Canon was
Yep.
orange, I remember, and I always would be the one to, like, take photos and take videos at like, I was in a sorority, so I did, like, all the events and stuff and made little videos for us, and even
Hmm.
just with friends, I was always that person. Um, but it never ever clicked on me to be a photographer until later. So I graduated college, I was looking for the jobs in the magazines, print was, like, starting to die, and I just couldn't land anything. I had a friend who was in this Facebook group for publicists, and she added me. She's like, "Oh, like it's a really good networking group. You should join." So I did, and somebody posted that they needed a freelancer to do like graphic design or something. And I connected with her and we clicked and I landed my first job. So I was going into the city twice a week to work part-time for her. I did like graphic design, I did some social media, just fun little like creative stuff. I think I wrote her blog for her. Um, and because it was only part-time, I was looking for another job too to supplement that income. And I just started Googling like jobs that I would want to have.
Hmm.
And I was at home in New Jersey and I Googled like, "Oh, wedding planning seems fun." So I Googled like wedding planners around me and I ended up getting, I guess, an interview with, her name's Kelly Hain from Social Life. And she and I got along really well. And she said, "Oh, do you want to, kind of do what you're doing for the other girl for me? Like, I need help with the blog, but you can also help me prep stuff for the wedding days. It's a lot of fun." And I was like, "This sounds awesome." Like, sure. I got to like make little signs for her brides and whatnot. It was so much fun. So I was doing those two jobs. And Kelly now, I think her business is in New England, or maybe she works a lot with the sisters at the Cedar Lakes venue. But at the time, she was in New Jersey, and she was sharing a studio with Hain Photography. Her dad is John Hain,
Hmm.
so they both kind of needed this help, and they were like, "Well, can you do some for Hain Photography too?" I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." So then I met Marissa, who now is the owner of Hain Photography, and I started assisting her on weddings, and she taught me a little bit about the camera. And just I remember I would help her do like creating wedding albums, and I would use Blog Stomp, that tool, to like make photos for her blog posts. And I just thought it was really fun. And eventually, I don't know, I was just like, I think I can do this too. I bought a Canon Rebel
Yep.
and kind of like from YouTube and just like watching her work and figuring stuff out on my own, kind of like self-taught myself this camera. And and yeah, I did a little bit of assisting for her, but I really just put myself out there one day on, I think, like a Facebook moms group, and was like, anybody need family photos? And I can find those photos now and look back like, oh my God, why did they pay me? But that was the first time I actually shot something, got paid for it. So that was 2016. So that's why I say that.
Mhm.
Um, I know this is a long-winded journey here, but
No, no, you're fine.
it's coming around. So, yeah, basically then sorry, go ahead.
No, 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 no. I well, I have some follow-up questions for you, but I want you to continue. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So
I'm like bookmarking in my head what I wanna circle back to, but I want you to keep going.
perfect. Yes, love that. So then what happened was somebody left that public relations firm in New York City, and I ended up filling that role. So I had a full-time job now there, um, which was awesome. But I was still doing stuff for the girls on the side in the wedding industry, and I was slowly building up my skills with the camera. And even at that full-time job, I would like, so it was a beauty public relations firm, and we would put on all these little events and we'd go to fashion shows. It was so much fun. It was a lot of work, but it was so much fun. And I would bring my camera and like make little videos for the clients and like take some photos. So they really liked that, which was great. Um, Eventually it came to the point where I was like, do I move to the city and pursue this full time, or do I look elsewhere? What's going on? Um, it was a small firm. There was maybe 7 of us. So, as you can imagine, it's not like the highest paid job. It's the city. I was commuting from home. I lived like almost 2 hours away. I was going on a train every day, door to door, like 2 ways. It was a lot. And I think if I had a lot of friends in the city, or maybe if I worked at a bigger, like, corporation and just knew more people, I would be more keen to, like, live there, but I was kinda nervous to live there and just not know anybody besides, like, the 7 people that I worked with every day. And, so I was just like, "You know what? I'm gonna look elsewhere and see where else I can work. It's time to move on." Um, and I kept my options open as far as location, and I ended up, uh, getting my next job in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. So I totally shifted cities, was now more of a Philly-focused person, and that was awesome. I did public relations for them, and they're a marketing, they're a tourism bureau. They do marketing for Bucks County. They want people to come and visit and stay overnight and just see all the beauty that it is. It's a great place. Everybody should go. Um and I loved that, and I stayed there for 6 years, and I was doing photography on the side that whole time, and I just slowly started getting into weddings that way. I think I reached out to a few people to second shoot for them, and then just made it known that, like, I wanted to work in weddings. My aunt had a coworker who was having, like, her 2nd marriage, and I think that was, like, my first wedding by myself. Um and yeah, I slowly built up from there,
So
excellent photography.
what was that first wedding like? So, because 'cause I've heard like this is kind of a common theme among people that I talk with, and
Right.
I'm curious to hear your experience. Because well, I wanna hear your experience, and then I'll tell you what mine was.
Okay, can't wait to hear. Uh, I know, it was short. It was a 2nd marriage, and I think I was there for maybe, like, 3 or 4 hours. It was in Red Bank at the Oyster Point, I wanna say, and
Mhm.
I was so nervous, and I love the flat lay elements of a wedding day. And I just remember trying so hard to make it perfect, and they clearly were just like, "We don't really care about this." So I put all this pressure on myself to do pretty flat lay, and, no, it was fine, it was really fine, I mean, like, I used those photos to no end on my portfolio,
Mm. Mhm.
so I needed that to, like, get my next wedding,
How did you
but
feel afterwards? Did you come away with it being like, "Oh, yeah, this is awesome," or, like 'cause so here, I'll tell you my experience. So
yeah, yeah,
my
I'm
first
here.
wedding, was a friend of mine from high school, and, he asked me if I would photograph his wedding. He lived down in Savannah, Georgia,
Oh,
and
it's all
he was getting married, and good family friend of mine from high school, and he's like, "Will you come down? Like, we'll pay for your, like you can stay with us for rent. We live down there. You stay in our house." Um, and I think I don't know. I charged like less than $500 because he was like paying for all like my
yeah,
travel fees and like all that kind of stuff. So I was like, all right.
definitely.
But I just remember having so much anxiety leading up to it. Um, and like, and this part of it is like kind of neither here nor there, but it was also like a same sex wedding. So
Mhm.
Um, so and I
Yeah.
knew no forget the fact about, like, same-sex couples and, like, the nuances of posing that, like,
True,
I didn't
true.
even know how to pose, like, a man and a woman together, like,
Right.
so, I was just it was just if I look at it now, I wouldn't have I don't know that I would have picked that to be, like, the first wedding
That
that I
is
that I shot,
incredible.
but, like, you start where you start, right? Like, you don't know what you don't know, and, my feeling leaving that experience, which was great, and I had so much fun, and it was, like, really, really a beautiful day for, like, so many reasons, um, but I just remember
Right.
feeling like, "Oh, man, like, thank God that's over."
And now you do it all the time.
And now
Yeah.
yeah. Yes, exactly.
Well, I still remember too, one time, I still remember when I was assisting for Marissa with Hain Photography, and, you're normally when you're starting out, you're kinda, like, carrying bags and reading off the shot list, you're not shooting, and at the end of the reception, she'd be like, "Here, play with my camera, go take some dance floor shots."
Mm,
It's like, "Oh god, oh my god, oh my god," and I was so nervous, I would, like, stand around the perimeter of the dance floor and just be like, "Dum, dum," like, and it's funny because now sometimes I'll bring on, like, an assistant or new people, and they're a little bit the same way, like, timid, and now I just get in there and, like, God, like, you just really have no care. You just know that you have to get those photos when you get in there, but when I was first starting out, I was like, "Everybody's looking at me, they're not dancing, and I need to get their photo. Oh my god, oh my god." So, yeah, I think that comes with time too, like, getting that confidence, in front of people.
yeah, yeah, and I think for me, the confidence really came, because I would go through that cycle of, having, like, really bad anxiety leading up to a wedding,
Yeah,
and then having, like, the relief that it was over. I went through that for, like, a long time, and I feel like it wasn't
right,
until I finally went full time with wedding photography and just kinda made this decision, "Alright, like, I'm gonna dive in head first," um, and, you know, when when I did that, I
mhm.
found myself in so many situations, um, good situations, bad situations, challenging situations, things that, like, kinda make you think, how are we gonna get through this? Like,
Right.
when the weather's bad or there's, like, a weird family dynamic or there's, a really challenging venue. Um, like, going through all those things and kind of seeing like, "Oh, I got through that and it was okay," or, like, "I got through that
Yeah,
and I got the shots that I needed to get." Like, the
right.
more that happened, and honestly, for me, it was just the repetition of, like, putting myself in those, weddings, like, weekend after weekend after weekend and not having the luxury of of obsessing on what had happened, like, the day before or the weekend before. Like, you just have to
Yeah,
move on to the next thing. Um,
totally.
like, for me, I feel like that was kind of like the game changer where it went from feeling, very nervous, unsure, not so confident to having this energy. Like, I still get nervous on wedding days, um,
Me too.
but,
Mhm.
like, I feel like it's more excitement than nerves now. Um, And even with
Yeah.
the nerves, I kind of like I have this confidence of like whatever the day is gonna throw at me, like we're gonna figure it out.
Right. That's great, and I do too. I think with the experience comes that confidence and, um, yeah, you just with repetition, like you said, you just learn to adapt. And I still get nervous before every wedding day, but I think that's good. I think it's kinda good to be a little jittery because that means you care about it and you're gonna do a good job. And when those tricky situations come, like we were talking about the crazy weather day, I don't know. I think I've always had this element of laid backness to my personality where I'm just like, it is what it is, and we're gonna try our best no matter what. And they can't blame us for there being a cloud or a storm. Like, we're just gonna try our best, and they're gonna understand that, like, this is nature. This happens. And the people that we paid to be here, they tried hard to get the best that they could with a
Yeah,
crappy situation.
yeah, and, I think 99% of people, like, get that. Um,
Yeah, I think so too.
yeah.
I think so. I hope
So
so. If oh, yeah. If they don't, then it's like, "Oh, maybe we weren't the best fit for each other." No.
right. Well, yeah, that too. Um,
Right.
but, like, alright, so you shoot your first wedding, um, how did you feel coming away from that? Were you, like, jazzed, like, pumped, like, "Let's do more," or, like, "That was fine?"
Yes. No, no, I think I liked it a lot. Um, I think for me too, what also drew me into this industry is, so I've always worked for these small businesses. I've never worked for, like, a large corporation. I always wanted to try that, but I just always found myself in these small businesses. So I always wore a lot of hats, and I always saw I had a close relationship with, like, the person at the top, the president at the company, because it was very small. And for so long, that scared me. I was like, "Oh my god, I would never wanna run my own business." Like, the amount of pressure they have, like, when, you know s am I allowed to curse?
Ooh, yeah, let it fly.
Like, and I'm like, "Oh, when shit hits the fan, like, I don't wanna be the one who's taking the blame for all that." And
Mm,
but as time went on, I started to realize how much, like, you know what, I kinda like being in control. I like being the one in charge,
mm,
and I think I would actually like to do that. So yeah, coming off of my first wedding, I just really loved being, like, the creative director of this set, this not even a set, but, like, someone's day where there's all these cool design elements. There's, like, I've always liked the fashion part of things. I mean, there's a lot of, like, art to it. There's, like, the love story angle. There's just so many fun angles, and I always just liked being the one to, like, piece stuff together and be like lay out, like, a story.
mm,
So I really loved doing that at that wedding, and it just yeah, it made me wanna shoot more uh, and slowly, like, be like, "Okay, I think I just wanna do this, and I would actually be okay running my own business." Whereas in the beginning, I was like, "Yeah, I'm scared. I don't wanna do it." Now I'm like, I'm good at it. I'm good. It's
mm. Yeah,
okay."
I know, like, for me, honestly, the hardest part of it all is the business part, is,
Mm.
particularly, like, putting myself out there for, like, marketing and, being consistent, um,
It's
on, like,
funny that you say that because I think that you do so good. I see your stuff and I'm like, "Oh, he's just
I
another wedding photography business. We're
I
doing good."
appreciate that. I don't love it, though. Like,
It is
I don't love it
hard.
the way that I love being there on a wedding day, and I
Right.
think that's why I've kind of built my life around, up until recently, around being a lead shooter, second shooter for other studios, because um my personality has always just been like, I just want to do the fun part, like I just
Yeah.
want to do I just want to do the thing that I like to do, and
Yes.
and that's getting to be there on a wedding day with fun people, and getting to, be that creative director, and, like, getting to have, like, control. Like, there's definitely,
Mhm.
you know, I've talked about this with a lot of people too. Like, there's gotta be something, like, diagnosable in there of, like, like, just, like,
Yes. Agree.
loving getting a high off of that, off of that control.
Right, right.
Because
So
like,
funny.
good, bad, or indifferent, I feel like it's the one part or one thing in my life that like I do have some kind of control over, because everything else
Mhm,
just feels like, like kiddos are crazy and life
mhm,
is wild. But like for the most part on a wedding day, you're managing that timeline and like your experience. And it's not like I don't want it to sound that like we're being cavalier about it. It's like
mhm,
we're using our experience to get the best set of photos out of any given situation, right? Like that's always the goal is like, how do we make this the best day possible, like for the client, right? And that involves making like some pretty big decisions for the flow of the wedding day.
yeah,
Um, and like we were saying, like early on, that pressure was a lot. But after doing it for a while, you become more confident in those decisions, and like we were saying, like it becomes second nature. But
right.
um,
Do you feel like you are a perfectionist, would you say?
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know. I guess in some senses, yes. In other ways, no.
Mhm.
Um, I,
Same, yeah.
I find that in the moment, um, so like for example, I'll shoot a wedding day and my workflow, like I work pretty quickly. Like I don't spend a ton of time in any one pose or in any one, you know,
Mhm.
like
Right.
I'm moving around a lot.
Yeah,
Uh,
a
and
fast-paced day.
yeah, 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 yeah. So, um, I feel like I get a lot of variety very, very quickly. Um,
Right.
but
Yeah,
then
I do
like
too.
after a wedding day, I'll be like in the car on my ride home, and I'll be
Mhm.
thinking about all the things that I think I might have done wrong. And I'll be thinking about all the
Right.
shots that I might have missed. So I'm like a Monday morning perfectionist, if that makes sense.
No,
Like
that was
I'm beating
I
myself
can see
up
that.
for like things that, and again, a lot of it's imagined, like totally imagined, because I'll get stuff back on my laptop and I'll look at it and I'll be like, "Oh, that's totally fine." Um,
Yeah,
like that's no, that light
same.
is great, or like that pose is great, or like no, that hair wasn't out of place, or like no, like that, you know, that light
Right,
is
I do the
okay,
same thing.
that shadow is okay. Like, but
Yeah.
that's what I do to myself. I kind of like beat myself up for like no reason after the fact.
Yeah, totally normal. I think I do that too. Sometimes I'll look back at old weddings, like, if I have to go and pull an image for something, and afterwards I'm like, "I mean, that's okay." Then I go back, I'm like, "Actually, that's really good, like, I did fine, what am I talking about?" But yeah, I feel that too. I feel like I'm a perfectionist, but also, like, very laid back if
Are
things
you
don't go
a perfectionist? Are you a perfectionist with flat lays?
yeah. I but it's 'cause I think I have that, background of I just really like design, and so I love the look of a flat lay, and I think we were talking about this recently. Is that going away? Are things shifting into
Mm,
more of like, not on the mat, just out in nature? And, I'm trying to put myself in that headspace, but I think I'll always be having a mat, at least for a few years,
yeah,
uh, just because I like how it looks. I think it looks pretty.
it does look great, and I do appreciate a really really good flat lay. Um,
Yeah.
but I have a confession to make, and
Oh,
it's
no.
that I love looking at other people's flat lays.
Uh-huh.
I don't like doing flat lays. For me
Totally.
for me, honestly, it's the most
Yeah.
stressful part of the day
I
is
know,
doing
I
a
feel like
flat
it's a
lay.
love or hate thing. It can be hard. It can be hard. I don't blame you for that. I don't.
Yeah, I don't love it, but I also haven't really found a great way to shoot details, um,
Mhm,
in like a comprehensive, aesthetically pleasing way,
mhm.
um, like outside of a
Yeah.
flat lay. So I like
Same.
what some other people are doing now, with like, again, like shooting it more in the natural environment, or
Mhm.
like I've seen other people will like, I don't know, it's if it's not done right, it could be a little like cheesy or
Sure.
like not so aesthetically pleasing, but like, the direct flash on like a cool like sink in the bathroom or something,
Right.
like doing like the shoes and the perfume and like the jewelry around that could be like really cool. Um,
Mhm.
but
Agree.
like I feel like you kind of have to pick your spot with that too, like some of like the nice thing about flat lays is that they're consistent. Like you can do them for like just about any wedding. Some of the other things that I see people do is like, oh, that's cool for that wedding, but like that is not going to work or be repeatable
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
another day. You know what I mean?
definitely. I know it's interesting to see where, like, the visualness of everything is going, and I don't know, trying to keep up, but also trying to remain classic.
Yeah. Do you like stay on top of current fashion trends too? Like with your fashion background or interest?
No, I do Newly, so which is a rental service for clothing. Um, like, I used to be so good at this stuff with everything, with fashion, with music. Now I'm like, "Who's this singer? Who's that?" I'm like, I don't even feel that old, but I think just it's the natural progression of, like, you like what you used to like, and times move so fast that you just don't adapt to, like, what's coming up, and just so much goes on. Like, you have kids. I have a 2-year-old son now, and my focus is really on, like, that now. So, I don't know. I try and keep up with the trends. I'm trying TikTok. It's not really coming super natural to me, but I'm also just not super interested in it, but I feel like I have to be there. I have so many thoughts on TikTok. Uh, so yeah, long story short, yeah, I try and keep up with the trends, but I
But
don't know.
do you think because I know for me, a lot of like my own interests kind of fell by the wayside when I became a parent.
Yeah. Yeah, and so my son's 2, and now, I mean, when you're in, like, that newborn, even under 1 bubble, it's like, especially when it's your first kid, I'm sure you felt this too, it's just like, that is it, like, that's your whole life, but you want it to be that way. You're into that, that's what you're looking forward to. And now he's in daycare, so I have him gone for a few days a week, I'm able to focus on things that I used to focus on, or at least, like, my business, and, yeah, now I think, I mean, I'm finally going to the gym more consistently. Um, I have hobbies, like, I take French lessons.
Nice.
Um, so I know, so funny. So now that he's, like, a little bit older, I do feel like, yeah, I'm getting back into, like, "Well, what's Alexa like?" Like, "What can I do for myself?" Whereas when he was, like, a little squirmy alien, I couldn't do that stuff, but
Mm,
yeah.
yeah. That was a rude awakening for me. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I don't know if it's
Mhm.
all men, but I feel like for me, I didn't realize like how much of myself was going to get lost along that journey, you know?
Yeah,
Um, so, and again, I don't want to make any blanket statements if that's like a guy thing or if, or whatever, but like for me, it was like a very rude awakening to kind of feel like, oh yeah, my
mhm.
stuff is like not important. And then
Right,
like, but like to, start to like be okay with that and realize, oh yeah, you know, this is a big responsibility and this is a big,
right,
um, yeah, like my attention and so much of my energy goes into making sure that like they're all
right.
okay all the time.
Totally. I feel that way too. I think, yeah, maybe it's like a parent thing, or you go from being viewed as, like, yourself, and then, or by society, I guess, and now you're like, "I'm mom," like, or "I'm
Hmm.
dad," like, that's who you are, and I don't know. It's like, "No, no, I was cool once. I'm so cool." I'm still the same person. I just have a little person with me all the time too.
Well, yeah, because the your identity kind of changes to the outside world, but in
Right.
my brain, like I s- in a lot of
Yeah.
ways, I still feel like I'm that like 20 something, that's like still trying to like figure things out, you know?
Same. Same.
Like in my brain, I still feel like I'm, 23, 24, like right
Yeah.
out of college.
Yeah.
But like physically, I mean, like there's all this, like
You don't
um
gotta tell me though.
I like
I have
barely know who any of these like pop stars are now.
right.
I the fact
I
that I'm
know.
saying pop stars is like
I know. I know. And,
like
like,
who's that
it's
pop star?
crazy. Rockstar. Yeah. Sabrina Carpenter is, like, all
That
I
was
can
yeah,
think
that
of.
was the name that came to mind. I like barely know who
Oh,
she
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Um,
Same. So funny.
like yeah, I don't know. Like but
No, no, yeah. I feel you.
I also hear like down the pipe, you do get that back. Like once they finally get like a little bit older, my
Mhm.
my youngest is now 3.5. She'll be 4 in June, and but
Mhm.
it's like it's insane because I'll drop her off at school, and we'll be listening to like Encanto on the way there,
Yeah.
and I drop her off, and I get back in the car, and Encanto's still on, and I don't turn it off, like.
Yeah. This is good.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm still singing, like, "We Don't Talk About Bruno," like,
I
on
know.
the on the way home,
Oh, I
when I
love
very
that song.
easily could, like, put on my own playlist or, like, something that I like to listen to. Um,
Totally.
and
I
like, no, this is just easier.
yeah, no, I feel the same way. We're all about Bluey and Spider-Man over here.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's crazy because I remember before I had my son, just hearing people who had kids, so I don't know, like in the work environment at least, where it's like, "Oh, can you go to this? Can you do this task?" Or anything, and they would always be like, "Oh, but, like, I have to do this with my kid. Oh, my son has this, blah, blah, blah," and you'd always have this, like, "God, like, just do it. Like, let
Right,
your kids
right.
it's fine."
Like, God, your kid
And
is
then
so
you
high
have
maintenance, like,
kids
what's wrong with your kid?
yeah, like, "What's wrong? You have a kid, you could do it." And then you have kids, and you're like, "Oh, no, I understand." Like,
Yeah,
they take up a lot of time and attention, and even just when we're home together and doing nothing, at the end of the day, I'm exhausted from just mentally having my attention on him for 8 hours straight. So,
mhm.
it really does change everything. But in a good way. I mean, in a good way. I don't wanna damn make it sound like, "Ah, a dang kid," but, like, I love him to death, and but it really does change so much about your
Yeah.
daily life and your perspective and everything.
How did that like, what was that transition like, um, going from, shooting weddings, without a kid to being pregnant to then having a baby and having to shoot weddings? What did that look like?
Yes. So, when I went full time, it was 2022, and that's also the year I got married, and that was a big catalyst for me in going full time, to be honest, because, well, we were getting married, and I mean, a big part of having a business is, now you have to worry about benefits. Now you have
Mm,
to really pay for everything. You don't have that job security that you do with a big company. So because I was getting married, I was like, yeah, I think now is the time. Now I feel safe and secure in my finances where God forbid something happened. I didn't get one wedding in a whole year. I have my husband to fall back on. And it's funny because I think he knew that was coming too. And I told him like, all right, January 1st, 2023, I'm leaving. And then or no, I think I said March. I was like, "March, March, March." And then slowly I was like, "January, this is it, January." And then November came and I'm like, "I can't do it anymore, it's too hard." And I ended up putting in my 2 weeks notice in November. Um, just slowly moving back that timeline there because it was just so hard to do a full-time job and the side business at the same time, and I was really, really burning out. So I'm very thankful for him for being like, "It's okay, like, just do it, like, I got you, you're good." So that was a big catalyst for me going full time. And yeah, so I went full time 2022. I had my son 2023. Just sounds really fast, but it didn't feel fast at the time. And yeah, now I just have to really worry about, childcare.
Mhm,
Um, and I'm learning my capacity, like maybe I'm not going to shoot as many weddings. I'm trying to move away from second shooting as much because it's just not like financially, clearly you make a lot more when you associate shoot or you shoot your own wedding. So there's that aspect. And now that my son is, getting older, you just want to be home a little bit more on the weekends. So I'm really focusing on getting my own weddings instead. Um, yeah, I forget where I was going with this.
um, I
Handle,
remember
yeah.
was it was it difficult, like, those first few weddings to, like, leave for the day?
No, no, because I was so excited to get like some sane time.
Mm,
I remember, I had to hire an associate shooter for 2 weddings that were right around my due date, and they were fine, they did awesome, it was great, no complaints, and then my first wedding was exactly a month after my son was born, and I was like, "Oh, like, I'm out of the house, this is great." So I really liked it, but I've always been somebody like, I love having a job, I love like, that's my part of my identity, I love doing it, so I knew that I needed to get out,
mm,
at least a little bit. I don't know when we have a second kid one day how I'm gonna feel, but at least then it was a nice little break there.
yeah. Yeah, I'm just always curious because so my wife is now she was a teacher for many years, and then,
Mhm.
she was a stay-at-home mom for a while, and then when she, like, decided she wanted to get back into the workforce, she became a lactation counselor,
Right.
and,
That's awesome.
so, um, I've gotten to learn more about that world than I ever thought
Yeah.
that I would.
I know. Definitely. As
Um,
a guy, yeah.
but my wife's experience was, like, those first couple times where she had to leave, our kids were, like, really, like, challenging for her. Um,
Mhm.
and so I don't know, I've talked to a few people on the podcast now who, who have kids and had kids, like, while they were shooting weddings, and, I'm just always kind of, like, curious to see, like, what that looks like for different people, and it runs the gamut, like, everyone's a little bit different, like, I know and, for me, obviously, like, it's a little bit different, but, um, you know, I I kind of also, like, derive a lot of my identity from working and from
Mhm.
getting out of the house, and, um, it's
Right.
funny, one time my wife actually second shot with me, um
No way. That's
yeah,
great.
and, I think we only had 2 kids at the time, um,
Yeah.
I think it was, yeah, my 2 boys, and, she came with me for the day, and, by the
Mhm.
end of the day, we were, like, sitting down we were sitting down eating dinner, eating our nice, like, vendor meals together,
Yeah.
She was like,
For sure.
like, "Yeah, this is, like, a long day, this is, like I could see how this is difficult, but this is, like, so much easier than being home alone with
Really?
the kids." Oh, yeah,
Oh.
100%. Like,
Yeah.
I would take shooting a 10-hour wedding day over being home with all 3 of my kids
Yeah.
any day, and what I mean by that is, like, being home with all 3
No.
kids is way more difficult.
I totally understand. I know I feel like when I say stuff like that, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, people must think, like, she doesn't like being a mom, da, da, da." Like, no, 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 I love it, it's just exhausting, and you
Yeah.
do need an outlet sometimes to bring you back to that sane mode so you can be the best parent for your kid when you're with them.
Yes.
Um, I totally understand that.
Yes.
I
100%. And
give it up. I don't know if I could be a stay-at-home mom, but sometimes it's funny though because now as my son's getting older and he's just getting so much more aware of things, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like, you're a little human, like, we're friends now, this is so cool," and now I feel more guilty when I leave him because he'll be
mm,
like, "Mommy, where are you going?" I'm like, "Oh my god, you know I'm leaving." So yeah, I don't now it's not what I expected,
yeah. It is
so
interesting when the lights, like, start to turn on. Like, yesterday, I actually had a couple of shoots yesterday,
right.
um, and, I was gone for, like, not for most of the day. I was gone for like, 5 or 6 hours during the middle of the day. And
Mhm.
I got home and my daughter was like, she saw me come in the door. She's like, "Daddy, you're home. You're
Aw,
home.
I
Like
know.
you're here now. Like, Daddy,
I
you're
know,
home.
and
You're done with your work." And like
aw.
it's like they start to understand. And like my oldest, he's 7, so he kind of gets like what I do. Um,
Yeah.
and like we'll pass, because I don't know, we will pass like Crystal Point or like the Mill, and I'll be like, oh
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that's like where I shoot weddings sometimes. And now when we pass them, he's like, Daddy, that's where you like work sometimes, and I'm like, yeah, that's where I work.
I know, that's so cute when they get it. They're like, "Yeah."
Yeah,
I I I get that too. So yeah, then it's when it gets a little bit now it's getting a little harder, but I'm like, "Oh, no. Now he knows that I'm leaving him," and I don't know, then I go down this spiral where I'm like, "He's only gonna be little for so long, and I'm just leaving him to the wayside." So, but it's
well,
okay.
the way I kind of look at it
Mhm.
is, my wife and I both like own our own businesses, and
Yeah.
so they're getting to see like a different way of like supporting themselves, right? Like something that's kind of outside of the typical
Yeah,
9 to 5 shuffle, which I think is really important. Um,
totally. I
and
love that.
I love my parents, and they provided for me, and my family, like we had everything we needed, everything I wanted and more. And,
Mhm.
but they worked. My mom was a teacher, my dad was an engineer, worked like, regular 9 to 5 jobs, right? So
Right.
I didn't, you know, and they were probably around. I could have probably sought them out, but like, um, the idea of like owning my own business or the idea of doing something outside of that just never was in like on my radar, So like
Same.
I feel like it took a long time to kind of like peel the layers back and realize like, oh, like people do this, it's
Mhm.
different. But like, looking back on it, like this is like honestly the perfect job for me because I get to be around people, um,
Mhm.
and I get to like pick and choose how much I want to work, and I get to pick and choose where I work and yeah, so I don't know, like I have always just really valued like flexibility and having my own time and space, um,
Mhm.
but also like getting to provide those things for my family too, right? Like getting to work a job where I can say, you know what, like we're gonna take the first 2 weeks of January and we're gonna go to Puerto Rico, and
Mhm.
like, yeah, you're gonna miss some school, but like you're young, you'll be okay. Like,
Yeah. This is life
but-
experience again. Yeah.
exactly, exactly,
And
exactly.
that's great
So
that your wife also owns her own business, so she can kinda do the same thing. Like, you could both take off that time, which
it's
is great.
nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really nice. So, but I kind of saw you nodding along with that. So like that was kind of your experience too. Like having your own business didn't really feel or seem like a reality or like attainable.
No, I never thought about it. Both my parents worked my whole lives. They're still working. They were both, like, full-time. I went to a babysitter's house when I was little, um, which was fine, which was fun, actually. I have, like, a lifelong best friend from that experience. Um, they're probably gonna, like, hate this if they listen to it because I never they weren't always like I mean, I didn't play a ton of sports or any of that stuff. I did play, like, lacrosse and tennis, and they weren't always, like, the parents at the sidelines at every game. Like, they were just always busy. They were always working, which is fine. I think it taught me, my work ethic came from them and seeing them, but now that I am in this type of industry where I own my own job and have the flexibility, I like that because no, like, I wanna be at my kids' soccer games and, like, I wanna be that very, very present, not helicopter, but very present parent. And again, love my parents, they were great. They just didn't come to my lacrosse games. But it's but no There is, the flexibility aspect is awesome, and I think, like you said, this is actually the perfect job for me because I can control all that stuff. Um, it is it is hard. I never thought about going into my own business, and it is funny because now my sister owns her own business, and my dad recently went into his own business. So I like to think that me entering this world helped shine a light on the rest of my family that, "Oh, it's not as scary as and you can actually make a living," um, as maybe we thought it was too risky in the past.
Mm. Yeah, your sister is a florist, right?
Yeah, my sister's a florist. Her company is Rhythm Floral Co. Little shout out. But she lives in Cleveland, so she's Cleveland based now. But if
Mm.
she was here, I like to think we would be taking the wedding world by storm.
Oh, yeah, you'd be owning it. Um,
Yeah.
does she does weddings as well? Like, she does wedding florals?
She does. Yeah, she
Yeah,
does weddings. Yep.
nice. I actually
Yeah.
have a soft spot for Cleveland. I lived there for 6 months.
Oh,
When I
we talked about this one time. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I did an internship in college, and I lived in downtown Cleveland for, like, 6 months,
Mhm.
worked, at the GE lighting, headquarters there, which I don't even know
Nice.
if it's there anymore because I think they spun off their light bulb business. I don't know.
Oh,
Um,
well, that's
but,
good.
uh but yeah, I have a very soft spot for Cleveland. It's actually a really great place. I had a really, really great time there.
It's cool, and I never thought about it until she moved there, and now I swear I meet people who are from Cleveland all the time. Like,
Mhm.
I'll be on vacation, "Oh, no, meet people. We're from Cleveland," or, over wherever, "Oh, yeah, I grew up in Cleveland." Like, everybody has roots to Cleveland, I
Yeah.
swear.
And, like, so that was my first experience living outside the Northeast. So it
Mhm.
was my first time getting to, like, meet nice people.
Oh my god. Yes, it's
And, like,
Midwestern
no,
here.
not that you don't meet people here who are nice, but, like, pretty much everywhere from, like, DC to Boston just has this, like, edge and, like, this
Totally.
attitude. Um, and people there just don't. They're just, like, welcoming and friendly and, like, follow the
Right.
speed limit and, like, walk when the walk sign says walk.
I know what you mean. No, they are very nice out there. That's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, so I don't know, I like to think that I brought a little bit of that back with me, I hope. I don't know. But,
Good.
um,
Me
um, so I wanna switch gears because you touched on it, and it's also been, like, a recurring theme on the podcast. So, like, your attitude towards, like, TikTok and, like, millennial wedding trends versus,
Yeah.
like, Gen Z wedding trends, like, what are
Mhm.
your what are your thoughts on, like, some of the changes that have been happening as far as not just like some of the brides that are now coming through, but also like some of the other photographers who are coming through and like embracing some of those newer trends and like things on TikTok.
Yeah. Well, I'm a TikTok newbie, and so I've been maybe 2 months now on there, and I yeah, I think I'm more of an observer, but
Mm.
what I've kinda noticed is that it is, very catered towards Gen Z, and it's a lot of at least the stuff that I'm getting targeted is I think my algorithm finally picked up that I'm in the wedding industry, but I'm getting targeted people just talking a lot about well, I don't know. I mean, so I'm gonna backtrack. Like when I was newer in the industry, I would try and get a lot of clients on Facebook groups. So people would post that they needed a photographer for a so and so wedding, and then you would comment, a million people commented. But I actually did get a lot of business that way. And I feel like TikTok is very much like that now too, but to a certain budget, like or maybe a certain look too. I don't know. I think that there's like this budget bracket of the TikTok bride, like, you're not gonna get, like, a luxury bride on TikTok is what I'm feeling. I think maybe you get them through, like, wedding planners or I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. So I am kind of viewing it as, like a certain market. So, like, I as I grow in my career and my job, understandably want to get like higher paying clients, bigger weddings, maybe a destination wedding or two. And sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna get that on TikTok because these seem like the girls who are, in their older 20s who are getting married, but they want this certain look, and a lot of them will post, "This is my budget and I want this." And then
Mhm.
all these photographers have to comment on it, like, it's like this rat race to, like, "Hi, pick me, pick me." Um, and I'm like, "I don't know if that's gonna be me." I mean, maybe for some of my calendar year, but
Right.
I don't like, does that make sense?
I think so. So do you find yourself, like, spending time consuming content on TikTok?
Yeah, I do, but I think maybe I'm just getting targeted all this wedding stuff. I mean, I was just never if I didn't have my wedding business, I probably wouldn't be on it because I'm just very accustomed to Instagram, or I'm,
Yeah.
like, chasing my kid or taking my French lessons, and I don't know what the heck like, I just don't have the interest for it.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm on it because I wanna know what's going on, and I wanna be present and understand the newer brides who I'm, trying to attract. Um, so I think it's good for seeing what the trends are and seeing, like, just, like, market research of, like, okay,
Yeah.
who I wanna attract here. Um, but I don't know if that's everyone. I don't know, I don't think everyone's on TikTok. So
I
I think, like, luxury clients and stuff, like, have maybe different ideas of how they want, like, a classic wedding day to look.
Right, or maybe they're looking differently on TikTok, because
Maybe.
there is definitely, like, luxury content on there,
Yeah, you're
um,
right.
but, like, and again, I'm not an expert on this whatsoever, and I'm most likely gonna be outsourcing my TikTok to somebody
I know,
'cause
same, same.
I
Like,
'cause I
oh,
also
man.
I this is just me, like, I just don't enjoy, like, consuming content there.
Yeah,
Like, I don't enjoy this, like I can just sense with, like, every single thing that pops into my feed, it's just something that's, like, trying to grab my attention, and, like
yeah.
and I don't like that because I already have 3 little things that are trying to grab my attention constantly.
Yeah,
Like, I want it to
exactly.
feel like a more active, um I don't know, like, what I like about Instagram is that if I'm scrolling through my regular feed, it's a combination of, like, photos, carousels, and reels. Um,
Mhm.
but I also, like I don't always go to Instagram to, like, look at wedding content. Like, I go to Instagram to, like, I don't know, like, to do what everyone else does. Like, I wanna be, like, entertained, right? So, like, a
Yeah,
lot of it now is, like, stand-up comedians and, like,
yeah.
other, like, funny meme, um,
Same.
accounts that I follow, and, like and then, like, maybe 10% of the time a wedding post gets in there, and it's, like, people that I wanna see their content, right?
Yeah.
Um, I don't know, I just feel like TikTok for me is things that I hate when I go on Instagram for, like, a specific purpose, and then
Mhm.
my attention gets, like, hijacked by something that I didn't mean
Mm,
to get into, you know what I mean?
yeah.
So, I feel like I'm kind of doing this mental dance of, like, I know I need to be on TikTok because I know that's where brides are looking,
Mhm.
but I don't wanna be contributing to this, like, attention-getting economy,
Right.
you know what I mean? So, I
Yeah.
don't know, I kind of, like, struggle with that. There's, like, some real cognitive dissonance there that I'm like, I don't know
No,
how to
I feel you.
reconcile yet.
I feel you. I feel the same way too. I like Instagram. I think it's great. I'm happy to be a contributing member. But, yeah, with TikTok, I don't know. I think I posted, like, 3 videos right now, and I'm just kinda, like, throwing paint at the wall, like, "Is this resonating with you guys? You like this? More?" So, we'll see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's been a real struggle for me, and I feel like there's definitely a purpose and a place for it, for sure,
Mm.
And the people who are really good at it, I feel like, are the people who just, like, post things and then, like, throw it away. Like, post
Hmm.
it and then just, like, throw it away. And,
Around it.
I feel like for so long, I was so, I had the mentality of, like, curating my feed and, like, making it so, like,
Right.
polished and refined,
Yeah.
that's kind of like a and I guess I am kind of a perfectionist when it comes to that, because like, I that
Yeah.
sort of thing I definitely am a perfectionist about, is the stuff that I post on social media,
Yeah,
whether it be
me
a
too.
story or a post or, like, even, like, a talking head, and I feel like even with these podcasts, like, I've had I've gotten a lot better with it, but, like, I feel like with each episode, there's been, maybe, like, a moment where I was like, "Oh, like, maybe I should edit that out," and then, like, when
Mhm.
it comes time to, like, release the episode, I'm like, just fuck it, leave it in."
Yeah. I
And
know.
it's always been, like, fine, you know? So, I feel like this has kinda helped me, I guess, just, like, be myself and just I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
You could
There's
get
so many
super
people
hyped.
doing so many things, and, like, I don't need to obsess over every single thing that I say or post.
Yeah, I feel like that too, even with TikTok videos and stuff. Like, I have some ideas. I'm like, maybe I'll post this, maybe I'll post that. And I don't know if it doesn't do good. I guess I just won't post that again, but I'm just not going to beat myself up over it. Like, yeah, people post random stuff. I mean, some of these really, really popular influencers, like Alex Earl, keeps coming up on my feed. And I'm like, some of the stuff she posts, I'm like, how would it have posted that? So personal. Blah, 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 blah. But
Mm.
they just post it and don't care about it, even if it's like them crying to the camera. I'm like, I would have never posted that. Like, they just have no shame. So, okay.
Yeah,
Guess
I don't know. I'm holding on to my shame.
Yeah, me too. I'm like, some stuff I just don't want you guys to see. You don't need to see it.
Oh, man. Do you so I feel like have you kind of embraced some of the trendier stuff too as it's, like, come about? Like, because I feel like your style like, I feel like our styles are pretty similar,
Mhm.
like, kind of classic timeless, but also with, like, a candid kinda edge to it, I guess I would say. Like, that's how I would describe myself,
Yeah,
like, classic timeless, but also, like, authentic and, um, you know, like, emotion driven.
right. Yeah, I think I am too. I'm definitely trying to lean into some of the trends, the ones that I like, I'll bookmark and be like, "No, I really wanna try that at the next wedding. That looks really cool."
Mhm.
I really love doing, like, the late night flat lays,
Mm.
and, I'm feel like I'm getting better with the late night flash shots. Uh, yeah, it's a balance between, what the people want and what you wanna shoot. I get a lot of requests for that stuff, and so I think if you're gonna pay somebody thousands of dollars to be a professional photographer at your wedding, like, they should probably learn that stuff too. So I taken upon myself to teach myself, the things that the people want,
Give the
um,
people what they want, right?
the people they want. Yeah. Exactly. So yeah,
Um,
I kind of put a little bit more trendy stuff in there. Yeah.
yeah. So I usually kind of start to end these things with this question. And
Mm.
it's like, what is your like 5 to 10 year plan look like if you have one? Because someone brought it to my attention that, I asked this question to like pretty much all the people that I have on here, and I don't have a good answer for this question. So um,
Oh,
they were like, you're crowdsourcing for your own plan. Um,
that's
but like, I don't know, some people have a very specific course plan that they're following. Other people are kind of like me and, just kind of winging it. I'm curious to see like what does that look like for you?
hmm. I I don't know either. I mean, I think I wanna keep doing what I'm doing, and I love learning things. I wanna be the best at what I am, what I do. Um, so I think I'd just continue on that route of, I mean, I don't know if there's this like stigma, like the luxury wedding market would be so cool to break into, but then sometimes I'm like, realistically, like, can I do that? I don't know. I mean, I would love to be able to do more destination weddings would be fun. Um,
What kind of
and
destinations?
I'll go anywhere. Like something on a beach. I mean, to me, like Florida is a destination. I'll go
Yeah.
there. Yeah. Um, but there are so many logistics with it too. So sometimes I'm like, well, maybe just like 2 year. Um, I don't know. I think I'm still figuring it out as well, especially, like, so I have, a son now. I definitely wanna have another kid one day, and that kind of brings changes things up too, 'cause now it's, like, 4 people in the family. Sometimes I think about, like, do I wanna go back to a corporate job? Like, probably not because I have this flexibility, but, Netflix is coming to New Jersey, and, like, that sounds fun. So, I really don't know. Have had a very well-rounded career where I said I started, like, in, like, fashion and beauty, and then I worked in tourism. And even before that, like, when I was a teenager, I worked at an ice cream parlor, I worked at a clothing store, like, I worked as a waitress. I've just done so many things. Never thought I was gonna be a full-time business owner. Here I am. So, I don't know. We'll see
Mm.
where I end up.
I I think, I think that experience in the service industry is super, super important to what we do.
Agreed.
Um,
Yeah.
like I didn't work in food service, but I worked in retail for many, many years. And just having the experience of dealing with the general public, um,
Mhm.
where you're like catering to their needs, you I don't know, I feel like you form an understanding of people and an empathy that like a lot of jobs just don't teach you.
Oh, yeah, and just to talk to, like, anybody. Like I said, when I was little, I was so shy, and now I just go up to people or, like, I think maybe with me and my husband, he might be, like, more of the introverted one, and I'm just like, "Hey, guys, like, you wanna do that?" Like, very I don't know, just because I've been doing it for so long and just been in these situations where I have to go up to people and just be smiley and happy and make them feel heard and understanding. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
and
great
comfortable in front of the camera, like,
well,
to get that to get that shot, yeah. Um, have you do you still write at all?
no. It's
Well,
lost.
the
I
only
feel like I can't form sentences sometimes because 'cause I'm just always talking to my kid. I'm like, what's another word for this?" But, no, I can't even say, like, I wanna get back into it because I don't know, I've just kinda I like reading. I like
mm,
reading. Um I think I mentioned I take French lessons. I did that in college. I learned French and I really liked it. And one like goal for myself last year was like, oh, I want to start a new hobby and like keep up with it. And so that was what I did. And I think I always liked like grammar, like just
mm,
learning about like a language
yeah,
and just because communication is so interesting to me with like my son now learning to communicate. It's like so interesting to me how like the words that he picks up and how he just knows to put 2 words together and like to form a sentence or he just surprises me all the time with how he's learning to communicate and he's not even learning the grammar part. He's just
right.
talking to me. So I think I really love learning a language because it's just so cool to see like how especially another culture like forms uh, their thoughts and just I don't know. I'm like, maybe I'll take Spanish one day too, but let's see if I can even ace French. I don't know. It's hard.
I think about that all the time with my kids, like,
Yeah.
how they pick up language, and if they were living somewhere else, they would be picking up, like,
Mhm.
a totally different language. Like, when I see like,
Yeah.
when we were in Puerto Rico a couple weeks ago, like,
Yeah.
just seeing, like, little kids around, like, speaking Spanish, I'm like, I don't know, like, it's obvious, but in my mind, I'm like, "How are they doing that? Like, how are they"
Yeah.
like
I know. It is cool. Yeah, with Yeah, with repetition. I mean, I find too, like, I'll try and listen to podcasts in it, and
Mm,
that's helpful, and I'll just, like, slow down. I mean, they talk so fast, so I slow it down a lot, but a lot of people I've talked to who have learned another language will say that, like, listening, like, watch TV shows and all that helps, and that has really helped me, just because the writing, it's one thing, but then,
right.
like, listening to it and the accents, it's totally different. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's really, really cool how the human brain, like, picks up these language and
Yeah.
just, like, learns it. Yeah, I think it's really cool.
I ask about the writing because I've always been, like, big into journaling as, like,
Cool.
a way to, like, process my thoughts. Um,
Right.
I, like
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe God, it's probably, like, 10 or 15 years ago at this point. I think it was my mom actually, or maybe it was I don't know, maybe my mom had done it and maybe it was, like, a roommate that bought it for me. I don't know. Like, I came across, The Artist's Way, and, The Artist's Way
Mhm.
is like a it's like a 12-step, or 12-week program for, like, rediscovering or, like, reigniting your creativity. So, like, each week you kind of
Mhm.
do these, like, exercises and inventories to kinda get back to, I don't know, just, like, exercising that creative muscle a little bit. But, like, one of the things that
Right.
you're kinda supposed to do throughout the whole 12 weeks, um, while you're doing all these other exercises is journaling every single morning. And so I kind of got into, like, a little bit of a habit. Like, I don't do it every day, but I'll go through stints where, like, I'll do it every day for a couple of weeks and then I'll miss, like, a month, but then I'll get back
Yeah.
to it. Um, and while I was
Yep.
on vacation, just recently, like, I I don't know, I just was finding myself waking up before everyone else, and
Nice.
doing it, like, and I don't know, like, a lot of it's just stream of consciousness bullshit, like,
Mm.
doesn't mean anything, but, like, it was still powerful because, like, when you write that stuff down, when you get all that, like, garbage in your brain, like, out onto the
Mhm.
paper, you're so much more clear throughout the rest of the day because, like, all that other
Right.
stuff, like, you've kind of processed that stuff out of your brain.
Yeah.
Um,
No, that
but I've always thought about, like, um, like, putting in the effort to do, like, actual writing, whether it be, like, blogs or essays or whatever, like, um, I'm kinda getting to the point in my career where I feel like I have, like, a lot of, like, stories and, like,
Mhm.
experiences that, um, I feel it could be valuable to people. So I feel like that's been, like, on the back burner in my brain for a long time.
Yeah.
And I don't know, kind of like with this podcast, like this was kind of like a seed of an idea for like a really, really long time before I actually like pulled the trigger on it. So I
Right.
don't know, like, I'm always curious with people, particularly photographers and other creatives, when they have like some sort of other like creative outlet, um, that they are into.
Yeah. I am too. I think usually people have one other one other than photography too, because yeah, it like, yeah, just you just discover new things about yourself, about the world. I don't know. You need that critical thinking aspect, I guess, to, like, help fuel your creativity in photography.
Yeah. Yeah. And like photography, I've always like it is creative, but it still feels kind of passive sometimes, because you're like reacting to what the moment is, as
Right.
opposed to like, you know, being like that's why there's a difference between like a styled shoot, right? Or like, something creative that like you put together yourself that like, you came up with the concept for like,
Mhm.
what the fashion is for like what the hair and makeup is for like where, the location, like all that other stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Um, which is why sometimes, I don't know, it's nice to like do something fun and like collaborative with people that has nothing to do with weddings. Um,
Yeah.
so I try to do that too, like at least once or twice a year where it's like, I don't know, there's like no money involved. Like let's just get together. Like let's just have a good time. Let's
Right.
create something like
Yeah.
really, really fun.
I like that too. I do a lot of that with my portrait clients. I do, well, I started like 2 years ago. I partnered with a small they're called Small and Furry Animal Rescue, so she rescues a lot of rabbits, and I don't know, I just came up with this idea one day. I was like, "I need to do, like, some spring minis, like, what about rabbits?" And, found her online, and people really liked it, and it just turned into this really fun thing. It was, like, basically a little styled shoot, but for families, and the rabbits come, and the kids love that, and parents do too, and now, I'm doing it again this year, and I just always try and have, like, a little mood board for it, and yeah, that's yeah, sometimes, like, being the one who's creating it all is a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah, and I also, I love the little, like, mastermind that you've created for,
Oh, yeah, thank you,
for
no.
a bunch of us.
Yeah,
Like, I couldn't go to the first one, but this most recent one, it was just, I don't know, I feel like
good.
one of the reason why I wanted to do this too was to, like, hear more about people's stories, but I don't know, like, people who like, I'm sure there are times where we get, like, a lot of the same inquiries, but, like,
Mhm,
there's, like, plenty of work for all of us to go around, right? So I feel very strongly in, like, community and collaboration, like, over competition.
right,
Um,
me too.
so, like, we're all in this for the same reason, and we're all, if we can, like, help each other, like, in any way, I don't know, I'm, like, a big proponent of that. So I just want to
Yeah.
say thank you for, like, putting that together.
Oh, of course. No, I love that too. I totally believe in that as well. I think it's important, especially, we all kind of work alone too, so it's like it's good to bounce ideas off of each other and same. I mean, we get a lot of the same inquiries, I'm sure, and I like to refer mine out to people that I know and like, and rather than just I don't know, sorry, go look on Google. So can help my friends out too. That's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. I feel, one of the things that I was worried about when, I went full time was, like, am I gonna have community? Like, am I gonna have,
Mhm.
um, people that, um, like, I feel, like, drawn to, who are, like, peers that, um, where, like, their work will also kind of push me or, like, inspire me, you
Mhm.
know? Um,
Yeah.
and, because it can be very isolating, especially, like, during this time of year where it's cold, it's dark, we're not out shooting a lot. Um,
Right.
it just feels very, like, stagnant, and there's, like, a reason for that too. Like, it's kind of nice to, like,
Mm,
embrace the season a little bit and, like, rest and,
I
like,
agree.
be a little bit quieter and go inward and, like, regroup and,
Mhm.
like, maybe plant some seeds for things that we wanna see later in the year, right? Like, I don't know, I'm a big
Mhm.
proponent of, like, being in tune with, like, what the seasons are doing too, but,
Yeah.
um I don't know. It's like, for me, community has always been really, really important to, like, be, like, one among my peers.
Same. Need that socialization as well. It's
Yeah,
important.
yeah, for sure. Um, Alexa, thank you so much for doing this. I
Of
really appreciate
course.
you. Um,
Yes.
yeah, I think we're working together soon again.
We are. Next
Yeah.
month.
Woo
Coming up.
woo. Yeah.
Excited. Be great. Hopefully we don't get like a snowstorm this time.
Oh my god.
But if we do, we are prepared.
If we do, we're gonna be fine. It's gonna be
We
fine.
will kill it. Yes. Exactly. I have faith.
I'm definitely gonna dig up that, like, fake news report that we did.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Weather reporter, you gotta show the people.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, man. Well, again,
Well, thank
Alexa,
you.
thank you so much
Sorry,
for
go.
doing this with me. I really appreciate you. You are wonderful. You are very talented. Um, and,
You as well.
thank you. And, I look forward to seeing you out there on the trail soon.
Yes, me too. Thank you so much for having me, and, I can't wait to work with you again.
Woo! Let's do it.
Woo.
Alright. Bye-bye.
Bye.